Come, let us pray. God is here.
Here is my heart, open and honest before you, not polished, not protected, not hiding behind words I think you want to hear, but breathing in the quiet space where you already see everything. I come without explanations, without defenses, without the strength to organize my feelings. I come as I am, carrying truths I barely know how to name, trusting that you are gentle enough to hold what feels fragile in me. I lay down the masks I learned to survive, the smiles I used to stay strong, the silence I kept to avoid being seen, and I let my heart speak in its own language, slow and trembling, because you are not afraid of what is unfinished. You are not offended by what is broken. You do not turn away from confusion. You stay, you listen, you understand before I explain. And in this moment, if you are willing, draw me closer into this safe place where nothing needs to be hidden and everything can finally rest. I remain here with my heart uncovered, letting the quiet stretch without rushing it away, because in this stillness, I begin to notice how much I have been holding back, how often I tried to manage my own healing, my own strength, my own clarity, forgetting that you never asked me to arrive complete, only willing. I feel the weight of expectations slowly loosen as I sit before you. Expectations I placed on myself to be better, braver, more faithful, more certain. And I sense that you are not measuring me the way I measure myself. You are not counting my failures or timing my progress. You are simply present, steady, and patient, allowing my heart to exhale layers of fear it has carried for too long. And as I breathe in this grace, I realize that honesty is not weakness here. It is the doorway. So if it is possible, help me stay in this posture a little longer, without fixing, without proving, just letting my heart learn how to be open in your presence. As I remain before you, I notice how my heart begins to surface memories I tried to bury, moments where trust felt risky and vulnerability felt costly, and I do not push them away because I sense that you are not here to expose me but to receive me. You meet me in the places I learned to guard, the places shaped by disappointment, by unanswered prayers, by words that lingered longer than they should have, and instead of judgment, I feel room, space where my heart can unfold without being rushed toward resolution. I realize that I do not need to explain why I feel the way I feel because you already understand the language beneath my thoughts. You hear what I cannot articulate. You honor what I cannot yet heal. And as I sit with these truths, my defenses soften, my breathing slows, my shoulders lower, and if you would, allow me to trust that even these unspoken parts are safe to bring into the light of your presence. In this quiet unfolding, I begin to sense how much effort I have spent trying to be acceptable, trying to present a heart that looks composed and faithful, even when inside I felt unsure and tired. And I see now that none of that performance was ever required here. You are not asking me to impress you. You are inviting me to rest, to let go of the careful arrangements I built to keep myself from being disappointed again. I feel the tension between wanting control and needing surrender, and I admit how unfamiliar surrender feels, how it asks me to loosen my grip on outcomes, timing, and understanding. Yet as I sit with you, I feel no pressure, only a steady kindness that does not rush me toward change. It simply stays with me as I am, and in this staying, something gentle begins to grow, a quiet courage to be real. So if you will, teach my heart that it is safe to stop striving here and to simply remain open in your presence. As this openness lingers, I become aware of how deeply my heart longs to be known without being corrected, held without being hurried, and loved without conditions attached. And I realize how rarely I allow myself to believe that such love truly exists. I notice the instinct to retreat when things feel too tender, to rebuild walls out of habit, Yet here I sense no threat, only a patience that waits for my willingness rather than demands it. You seem content to sit with me in the unfinished places, to listen without interrupting, to stay even when my thoughts circle back on themselves, and this steady presence begins to untangle the fear that honesty will cost me connection. Instead, it gently teaches me that honesty is what creates it. So if it is all right, help me trust this moment enough to let my heart remain uncovered, even when it feels vulnerable to be seen this way. As I stay here, I notice how my heart carries questions it learned not to ask. Questions formed in moments when silence felt safer than hope, and I allowed them to exist without forcing answers. I sense that you are not unsettled by uncertainty. You are steady within it. And that steadiness invites me to soften the tight places where I learn to brace myself against disappointment. I feel old fears surface, fears of being too much or not enough, fears of asking and being met with absence. And yet nothing pulls away from me here. Nothing withdraws its attention. Everything feels held in a quiet compassion that does not flinch. And in this space, I begin to understand that honesty does not push you away. It draws you nearer. It creates room for truth to breathe. So if you are near in this moment, allow me to lean into that nearness and let my heart rest without needing to resolve what it does not yet understand. As this quiet trust deepens, I become aware of how much of my heart has been shaped by learning to adapt, to adjust, to survive moments when being fully honest felt too costly. And I gently acknowledge those patterns without condemning them, because I sense that you are not asking me to erase my history, only to bring it into the light of your care. I feel how tenderness and caution coexist within me, how part of me wants to open fully while another part hesitates at the edge. Remembering past disappointments, and instead of forcing a decision, I remain present with both, noticing how your presence does not demand speed or certainty. It simply offers safety, and in this safety, something loosens, a quiet permission to be incomplete, to be learning, to be human. So if you are willing, guide my heart a little further into this trust, where honesty does not feel like risk, but like coming home. In this gentle unfolding, I start to notice how my heart has learned to measure itself by outcomes, by progress, by visible signs that things are improving. And I feel how tiring that measuring has been, how it kept me from simply being present. Yet here with you, there is no scoreboard, no comparison, no expectation to arrive anywhere other than this moment. I sense you welcoming me exactly where I am, not where I think I should be. And that welcome begins to quiet the inner voice that rushes me forward. I allow myself to slow down enough to feel what is actually here instead of what I think should be here. And in that slowing there is relief, a small release of pressure I didn't know I was carrying. So if you are close in this space, help me stay with this simplicity, letting my heart learn that it is enough to be present with you right now. As this simplicity settles in, I notice how my heart begins to trust the quiet more than the noise, how it starts to believe that nothing essential is being lost in this stillness. I feel myself releasing the urge to fill the space with words, explanations, or promises, because here I am, not required to negotiate my worth or justify my presence. You are already attentive, already near, and that nearness feels steady and unthreatening. I sense how my breathing aligns with this calm, how my thoughts slow enough to reveal what has been hidden beneath urgency. And what emerges is not shame but honesty, not fear but longing, a longing to be real without consequences, to be seen without being reshaped. So if you are listening in this quiet moment, help me trust that this openness is not empty, that it is forming something true and gentle within my heart. As I remain in this openness, I become aware of how my heart has often confused closeness with effort, believing that staying near required constant movement, constant proof, constant giving. And I feel that belief slowly loosening here, because your presence does not ask me to perform. It invites me to be. I sense how unfamiliar that feels, how my instincts search for something to do, something to offer, something to promise. Yet you meet me with a stillness that does not diminish me. It steadies me. And in that steadiness, I notice how my heart begins to soften toward itself, releasing harsh judgments I have carried quietly for years. And as those judgments lose their grip, space opens for compassion to enter. So if you are patient enough, teach me how to receive this closeness without trying to earn it, and let my heart learn that being open is already enough here. As this compassion settles, I begin to recognize how deeply my heart has been shaped by fear of losing connection, fear that honesty might create distance rather than closeness, and I gently bring that fear into this moment without disguising it. I sense that you do not recoil from it. You do not rush to correct it. You simply remain present, allowing it to be seen and held, and in that holding something shifts. The fear no longer feels like a warning, but like a story that no longer has full authority over me. I notice how your nearness rewrites the meaning of vulnerability, transforming it from exposure into communion, from risk into relationship. And as this understanding grows quietly within me, I feel a willingness rising to stay open even when uncertainty remains. So if you are here with me now, help my heart trust that honesty will always lead me deeper into your presence, not away from it. As I stay with this trust, I notice how my heart begins to relax its grip on certainty, realizing that knowing everything has never been the source of peace I hoped it would be. I feel how much energy I spent trying to predict outcomes, protect myself from disappointment, and prepare for what might go wrong. And here in your presence, that striving slowly loses its urgency. I sense that you are not asking me to see the whole path, only to remain present in this step. And that invitation feels both simple and challenging, because it asks me to release control without losing myself, to rest without disengaging. And as I allow that tension to exist without resolving it, I feel a quiet steadiness forming beneath my thoughts. Something deeper than clarity, something like trust taking root. So if you are guiding me even now, help me stay attentive to this moment, and let my heart learn that peace does not require answers, only presence. As this steadiness grows, I begin to sense how my heart has learned to brace itself against disappointment, holding back expectation as a form of protection, and I gently acknowledge how exhausting that posture has been, how it kept me alert but never at rest. And here with you, I feel no need to stay guarded, no need to anticipate loss, because your presence feels consistent, not fragile. I notice how my heart cautiously tests this safety, opening a little, then pausing, and you do not rush that process. You remain patient, honoring every small movement toward trust. And in this patience, I feel something new emerging, a willingness to hope without demanding guarantees, to stay open without insisting on outcomes. And if you are with me in this unfolding, help me allow hope to return in its quiet form, not as expectation, but as a gentle confidence that I am held even when the future remains unknown. As this gentle hope settles in, I begin to notice how my heart responds not with excitement, but with calm, a calm that feels unfamiliar yet deeply reassuring. And I sense that this calm is not indifference, but trust, learning how to breathe. I reflect on how often I chased reassurance through noise and activity, mistaking movement for meaning. And here I discover that your presence does not compete for attention. It waits patiently until I am ready to notice it. And as I notice it now, my thoughts slow and my emotions soften, creating room for clarity that does not pressure me to decide or declare anything. It simply invites me to remain honest. And in this honesty, I feel a quiet alignment between who I am and where I am. So if you are near in this calm moment, help me stay attentive to it, allowing this gentle hope to anchor my heart without needing to be explained. As I stay anchored in this calm, I begin to sense how my heart has been learning a new language, one not built on urgency or demand, but on presence and trust. And I notice how unfamiliar that feels after so long measuring myself by effort and outcome. Yet here there is room to simply exist without needing to justify my place. I feel the subtle release of old pressures that told me I must always be becoming something else to be acceptable. And I realize that in your presence, becoming is not forced. It unfolds naturally, gently, in its own time. I allow myself to notice what is true right now instead of what I fear or hope will be true later. And that honesty feels grounding rather than exposing. It steadies my thoughts and softens my expectations. So if you are close in this moment, invite me to keep my heart aligned with this truth, staying open without rushing ahead of your quiet work within me. As this alignment deepens, I begin to recognize how my heart has often confused strength with self-reliance, believing I needed to carry everything alone to remain steady. And I gently set that belief down here, noticing how heavy it has been. I sense that you are not asking me to be strong in isolation, but to be honest in connection. And that realization feels like relief spreading slowly through my chest. I allow myself to admit how much I have needed support. How often I felt tired of holding myself together. And instead of shame, I feel understanding. A quiet reassurance that needing does not disqualify me here. It draws me closer, and in this closeness, I notice how my heart begins to trust that it does not have to prove resilience to be loved. So if you are listening in this moment, help me accept this gentler definition of strength, one rooted in openness rather than endurance alone. As this gentler strength settles in, I begin to sense how my heart has been slowly learning to release the need to appear composed, to hold everything together on the outside while feeling fractured within. And I let that contrast soften here, because you do not ask me to hide the uneven places, you meet me in them. I notice how relieving it feels to stop managing my image before you, to stop filtering what I bring into this space, and instead, allow what is real to surface without fear of rejection. I feel emotions rise and fall without being corrected or restrained, and in that freedom something loosens, a quiet permission to be whole, even while incomplete. And I recognize that this honesty does not distance me from you, it draws me nearer. So if you are still here with me now, help me remain in this truth, letting my heart stay open without returning to old habits of hiding. As this openness continues, I become aware of how my heart has learned to protect itself by staying busy, by filling every quiet moment with thought or effort. And I gently allow that habit to rest here, noticing how silence no longer feels empty, but inhabited by your presence. I sense that you are not waiting for me to say the right words. You are already attentive, already engaged, and that awareness calms the part of me that always felt responsible for keeping the connection alive. I realize that closeness with you does not depend on my constant awareness. It is sustained by your faithfulness. And as that truth settles in, my heart relaxes further, trusting that even in stillness I am not drifting away. So if you are near in this gentle quiet, help me remain here without rushing to fill the space, allowing my heart to rest fully in your steady attention. As I rest in this steady attention, I begin to sense how my heart is slowly relearning trust, not as a decision I force, but as a response that grows naturally in safety. I notice how trust feels less like certainty and more like willingness, a quiet consent to stay present even when clarity does not arrive. And I feel how freeing that is, how it lifts the pressure to resolve everything before I can rest. I sense that you are comfortable with process, patient with unfolding, and that patience allows my heart to soften its timelines and expectations. I stop asking myself how long this will take or what it should look like, and instead I remain with what is happening now, feeling held rather than evaluated. So if you are guiding me through this moment, help me honor this slow work, trusting that what is forming in this honesty is deeper and more lasting than anything rushed. As this slow work continues, I begin to notice how my heart is no longer trying to negotiate outcomes, no longer asking what this openness will earn or protect me from, and that release feels unfamiliar yet freeing. I sense how deeply ingrained the habit of bargaining has been, offering effort in exchange for peace, faith in exchange for certainty, endurance in exchange for relief. And here, none of that is required. You are not asking for transactions, only presence. And that simplicity gently disarms my instincts. I feel myself becoming less guarded, less strategic, more real, allowing truth to surface without shaping it for approval. And in that honesty, there is a quiet dignity, a sense that my heart does not need to be edited to be welcome. So if you are still with me in this unfolding space, help me remain free from bargaining, trusting that being open before you is already enough. As this freedom settles in, I begin to sense how my heart is learning to stay without conditions, no longer preparing an exit in case disappointment returns, and that realization feels both tender and brave. I notice how often I kept one part of myself held back, just in case, just to stay safe. And here that guardedness gently loosens as I feel your presence remain steady, unchanged by my honesty. I sense that nothing fragile about me causes you to withdraw. Nothing unfinished makes you hesitate, and this steadiness teaches my heart a new rhythm, one where openness does not have to be temporary. It can be a place to live, a posture to return to, and as this understanding grows, I feel a quiet courage forming to stay present, even when uncertainty lingers. So if you are near me in this moment, help me trust that I can remain open without needing to protect myself from what has not yet happened. As this courage takes shape, I begin to sense how my heart is no longer bracing for impact, but resting into belonging. Discovering that openness does not leave me exposed. It roots me more deeply in relationship. I feel how my thoughts have softened, how my emotions no longer rush to defend themselves, and I recognize this as the fruit of staying rather than striving, of choosing presence over protection. I notice how gently you have led me here, without force, without demand, simply by remaining faithful through every hesitation. And that faithfulness teaches my heart what words never could, that I am safe to be fully here, fully honest, fully myself. And as I become aware of this truth settling within me, I feel gratitude rise quietly, not loud or dramatic, but steady and sincere. So if you are still inviting me deeper, help me carry this openness forward, allowing my heart to remain anchored in you beyond this moment. As this gratitude settles gently in my chest, I begin to notice how my heart is learning to hold both tenderness and trust at the same time, no longer feeling the need to choose between being open and being safe, and that realization feels like quiet healing. I sense that what you are forming here is not fragile. It is resilient in a soft way, strong without hardness, open without fear, and I allow myself to sit with that truth without rushing to name it or claim it. I feel how this honesty has reshaped my posture before you, making space for sincerity instead of performance, for relationship instead of effort. And as I remain in this awareness, I sense a desire rising to stay close, not out of need or urgency, but out of recognition. So if you are still near in this sacred quiet, help me linger here a little longer, letting my heart fully absorb the safety of being open before you. As I linger in this sacred quiet, I begin to sense how my heart is no longer asking what comes next, no longer scanning the horizon for the next instruction or sign. And that stillness feels like a gift I did not know how to receive before. I notice how your presence has gently retrained my attention, teaching me that this moment is not a pause between meaningful things. It is meaningful in itself. I feel my heart settling into that truth, releasing the habit of rushing ahead, and instead allowing myself to be fully here, fully aware, fully alive in your nearness. And in this awareness, I sense a deeper trust forming, one that does not depend on movement or progress, but on communion, on shared presence, on being seen and staying seen. So if you are here with me now, help me honor this moment as holy, allowing my heart to remain open and attentive without needing anything more than your nearness. As this holiness settles into the ordinary space of my breathing, I become aware of how my heart is learning to carry this openness beyond this moment, not as something fragile that fades when life resumes, but as a posture that can remain even in movement, even in noise. I sense that this honesty has begun to root itself deeper than my emotions, anchoring into something steady and enduring. I notice how my thoughts no longer feel scattered, how my inner world feels gathered rather than divided. And I recognize this gathering as a gift of your presence, not something I achieved, but something I received. And as I sit with this awareness, I feel a quiet willingness rising to live from this place, to return to it again and again. So if you are still walking with me now, help me keep my heart oriented toward this truth, allowing openness to remain a way of being and not just a moment of prayer. As this openness becomes a way of being, I bring my whole heart into your hands one last time, not to conclude something but to entrust it, knowing that what you have begun, you will continue with gentleness and faithfulness beyond my awareness. I sense a deep peace settling where striving once lived, a peace that does not erase questions but holds them, a peace that does not promise ease but offers companionship. And I recognize that this is enough, more than enough, because you are here and you remain, and in this awareness my heart finds its true rest. So if you are near as I sense you are, let this moment seal itself not as an ending, but as a blessing that flows forward. May your peace guard every open place. May your presence remain close in every quiet and every noise. May your love gently strengthen what is tender, and may this open heart be kept in grace, in light, and in the steady assurance that it is held now and always. Amen.